Hello everybody. Let me start the first class of theory of Japanese urban planning. Today, I'd like to talk about community-based disaster reduction in Japan. So as you all know, Japan is one of the disaster-prone countries around the world. Although Japan occupies only 0.25% of the world's land, surprisingly, 20% of the world's earthquake with a magnitude of 6.0 or greater occur in Japan due to the plate boundaries of four plates. Also, urban disasters like urban fire occur frequently in connection with natural disasters. Accordingly, we can understand why Japan is a land susceptible to disasters. Now I'm going to introduce the relationship between urban development projects and disaster prevention. There are three urban development projects related to disaster prevention in Japan. Firstly, the Land Readjustment Project, which is often called the mother of city planning, arranges irregular residential lots to improve the accessibility of emergency vehicles. The second, the Urban Redevelopment Project aims at the creation of an evacuation route and fire blocking belt by means of using of land intensively. So last but not least is the Disaster Prevention Block Improvement Project. Do you know what project this is? The Disaster Prevention Block Improvement Projects, which is called 防災街区整備事業 or in Japanese, is conducted to secure the disaster prevention function in a densely built up area based on the so-called mishuho in Japanese. This is a schematic image of the project. Specifically, through the idea of exchange of lights and equivalent exchange, this project is carried out by the removal of old and decaying buildings and the development of buildings with disaster prevention functions. Additionally, there is the disaster prevention blocks implement district plan called 防災街区整備地区計画 in Japanese. This district plan is different from the mentioned earlier project because the public and private sectors collaborate in this district plan. Let me move on to the next slide. This case in Tokyo is not the district plan, but quite interesting. This figure shows the Shirahige East Area Emergency Center called Shirahige Higashi-chiku Bōsai Kyoten. After the Great Kanto earthquake, the arrangement of wooden house congested district didn't move ahead quickly. So this area is one of the most serious districts in Tokyo. Therefore, in order to stop the spread of fire, the development of the Shirahige East area was promoted from the 1960s. Interestingly, we can see many autonomous disasters prevention facilities, such as water guns and water storage tanks. To sum up my presentation, Japan, since Japan is a disaster-prone land, we have to consider the national resilience. Also, according to the city planning law, Japan has some projects related to disaster prevention, which are not only bureaucracy-led, but also collaborative. Hence, the adaptable community-based disaster reduction, namely, 防災まちづくり is quite meaningful and fruitful. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you for your kind attention.